So I had a really good gambling week this week in the NFL. Made a lot of money. And I swear, every time I make a lot of money gambling on a certain sport or during a certain day, I always tell myself, just wait until next week to put that money back in. Don't force it. Just hold it there. Wait till next week, put it back in, or withdraw. But I swear the gambling temptation is just too much sometimes. And for instance, had a great Sunday, had a very rocky Monday night, and then Tuesday, playoff baseball, Yankees, Red Sox. I have not watched a single game of Major League Baseball this year. A full game. I have not watched a full first inning all the way to the ninth inning. Not once. And I decided to gamble on Major League Baseball, playoff baseball, the wild card game. And it went horrible. I bet on the Yankees to win. They didn't win. Garrett Cole sucked. And it went horrible. And now I'm back to square one, right where I started, in the hole, and working my way out, starting on next Sunday. But I guess that's the beast. That's the beast of gambling, and that's what I came to play. That's why I came to play, and I accepted this. But nonetheless, let's head to the show. What's up, guys? This is Tony Parlays, back at it again with the bet slip on the Cheap Seats Network. And, I'm feeling good today. I had a really good NFL weekend. I made a decent amount of money. However, one disappointment, the Big Day Parlay lost. Yet again, 0-4, big goose egg. If you've been following me this whole way, you're down $40, and I feel horrible. I feel absolutely horrible. Every single Sunday I go into this just watching 3 specific games and just hoping for the best, and I've been coming up short. This last one, pretty bad. We'll get into it later. And we're going to get into a lot this episode, but you know the deal. Talk a little week 4, talk a little week 5 preview, talk about the shitty Steelers right now, even though they're still my boys. They're shitty right now. And then we'll get into the Big Day Parlay. I have another good one. I'm switching it up a little bit. Big Day Parlay, been going juicy odds. Let's go for sure freaking bets. I got a surprise for you. The last week's celebrity guest did not work. We'll see what happens later because I got a good one. But this is the bet slip. Let's get right into it. Week 4. And you know what? This is kind of crazy. For the first week in the 2021 NFL season, the favorites won the week. First week all season long. The underdogs went 7-9 against the spread after going 9-7 the past 2 weeks. And they were 30-18 through the first 3 weeks. That was the underdogs. 30-18 heading into week 4. However, the favorites picked it up. They got the win finally. But you know what? Don't read into that. The dogs are still 3-1 in the last 4 weeks. Hammer, hammer, hammer. The underdogs. I had a beautiful, beautiful, straight up underdog pick. Seattle Seahawks coming through for me. They were beautiful last week. So still very, very, very big on the underdogs. However, give it to the favorites. They had a pretty decent week, although there were some big upsets. And that leads me into my next point for the week 4 recap is the Tennessee Titans. They are dead. So if you're a Tennessee Titans fan, and I can think of one right off the head, Mark Rodriguez, Mark with a K. He is a Tennessee Titans fan, and he was all up in Steeler fans' business this offseason, talking about how they're going to win the Super Bowl. Well, I'm here to tell you the Tennessee Titans are dead. They are D-E-A-D, dead. You cannot lose to the New York Jets outright and expect to be a Super Bowl contender. I don't care where you're at in the season. I don't care what your record is. If you lose to the New York Jets, the shitty Jets, you are not a Super Bowl contender. The Tennessee Titans did just that and lost to the Jets in overtime, ruined a bunch of parlays, a bunch of parlays, and one of them being the Big Day Parlay. And my man Brandon Din went with Tennessee -7. Those boys didn't even win outright. They didn't even win outright. What the heck? Tennessee Titans, dead. Welcome with Minnesota. You guys are in the same little group, the dead group of the NFL, the group I stay away from, the group I don't bet on because you guys are dead. You aren't Super Bowl contenders. You aren't playoff. Okay, you might make playoffs. You might sneak in there. However, nope, I can't trust you. You're dead. So that was another week 4 takeaway. Tennessee Titans are dead. Do not bet on them anymore the rest of the season. If you do, play it safe. Play it very, very safe, because if you would have put a money line bet on the Titans, you would have lost last week. Just let that sink in. They played the Jets. Whatever. Heading on. Week 4, the biggest recap, myself. What did I do gambling? Well, I'm here to tell you I went 11-7, and I won 12 units. 12 units. Caleb Malone, the unit king, that is $120. My unit is $10. If you want to know what a unit is, listen to my last episode. I gave a very beautiful definition. I'm up 12 units on the week. It was beautiful. I had a great week. Like I said, Seattle money line, juicy. Put a lot onto that. Had another, everything was just going right. Everything was going right except for the Big Day Parlay. We'll get into that a little bit later. However, great week, 11-7. All season in the NFL, I'm 27-40. Yeah, that sounds, under 500, kind of, Tony, what the heck? Well, guess what? I'm up 8 units, baby. 27-40 looks bad, but 8 units in my pocket doesn't look bad. $80 in my pocket doesn't look bad all season. That's what I'm talking about. Up 8 units on the season. So clearly I know what I'm doing, I guess, at least in the NFL, clearly not in baseball, because baseball, I lost all that fun last night. But in the NFL, I feel like I know what I'm doing, at least a little bit. But you know what? We're still climbing. 8 units isn't enough for me for this season. 12 units for the week, I can do better. We're still climbing. We got a beautiful week ahead of us in week 5. And speaking of that, I'm going to give you some locks heading into week 5. And these aren't just, Big Day Parlay picks. These are single bets I want you to throw in. I'm probably going to throw in. And I realized in my previous shows, I haven't really given you guys singles to go out there and throw down. So here are a couple that I found that I'm probably going to hammer. Maybe sprinkle, mostly hammer. So here we go. We got New Orleans versus the Washington football team. And I'm going to take over 44. 44, very, very, very low number, And, you see a lot of these games are in the 50s, high 40s. 44 is pretty freaking low. But I have a great stat on why I like this over-under. In the last 5 matchups between New Orleans and the Washington football team, the over is 5-0. 5-0. The over is 5-0. So you're going to give me a small number in 44 and then tell me that they've hit this over 5 out of the last 5 times. I will hammer that every time. Here we go. Hammer. Washington football team, New Orleans over 44. That's my first lock of week 5. And number 2, we got Green Bay -3 versus Cincinnati Bengals at Cincinnati. And this one's pretty easy. Green Bay coming off a nice win about the Steelers. We'll get into that later. But Green Bay is 6-2 against the spread in the last 8 games they're going to cover in Cincinnati. Cincinnati's frauds. We'll get to that later. And I just think that's an easy one. Green Bay -3, cake. Aaron Rodgers, only 3 points, cake. Moving on to my third and final mortal lock of the week. I have Tampa Bay -10 versus Miami. And I know what you guys are all saying. 10 points is a lot of points to cover. But I don't care. Tampa Bay is good. I know they went up to New England. It was kind of close. But New England has a good defense. Miami has a decent defense. But that doesn't matter. Tampa Bay is going to cover. They're going back to good weather. And Tom and the boys are going to start clicking on offense. And I just think they got this. Tampa Bay is 5-0 against the spread in the last 5 games versus Miami. They're going to go 6-0. I know 10 is a lot, but they had a tough game in New England. Now they're going to head home and just pounce on the battered Dolphins. The Dolphins are pretty injured. I don't think Tua's starting again. Jacoby's not doing bad. However, I don't think he's not equipped to be a starting quarterback in the league. He's a very good backup, but he's not a starter. So with him as their starter, I think Tampa's going to cover these points. So Tampa Bay -10, Green Bay -3, and New Orleans, Washington football team over 44. Those are your locks for week 5. And that was your recap for week 4 as well. Now we're going to head to a pretty depressing segment recently, Across the Bridge. Here we go. This is the Across the Bridge segment on the Bet Slip with Tony Parlays. And I love talking Pittsburgh sports with everyone. I love talking the Pittsburgh Steelers especially. You can take a look around the room if you're watching this on YouTube. Steelers sweatshirt, Steelers blanket, Yinzer pillow over there. We got the Steelers sign. Let's go. We got it all. We got Pittsburgh everything here. I love talking sports. Especially Pittsburgh sports. This is the Cross the Bridge, but it's going to be pretty depressing this whole season. This segment was supposed to be fun. I was supposed to give you some fun gambling, things about the Steelers, but it's just really hard to talk about the Steelers recently. It's hard to bet on them offensively because they suck so bad, and it's just hard to bitch about them anymore because it's just the same old every week. We're bitching about the same things, and things aren't going to get solved until next season probably, or the season after that, or a decade from now. So things are pretty bad across the bridge if you ask me, but we're still going to go over it every single week because I love the Steelers regardless. 0-17 or 17-0, I ride with the boys. So tough week for the Steelers. Heading out to Lambeau Field, they lost 27-17. More importantly, they did not cover the +7. I had a same game parlay, 6 picks to win $200. That is 20 units, and it missed by 1. I went 5 for 6, and I missed on the Steelers +7.5. I thought that was a lock, but clearly it was not. It lost by 10 instead. And this game, man, the offense is bad. The offense is really bad. I've said that every week, and it keeps getting worse. It's not getting better. They're not developing. And I don't want to be the I told you so guy, even though I love being the I told you so guy. But drafting a running back first round when we don't have an offensive line was stupid. I don't care what anyone says. That was stupid. You can look into the picks that, we could have had. And there's I would say 2 or 3 that I would have liked on the team. The others are still finding their way in this league. However, draft or free agency, whatever you want to do, we needed offensive line, and we don't have that, and we look terrible out there. And it's not just protecting Ben, man. Like, we can't even guard Najee, the one that we drafted. We cannot block for him. There's no run blocking. There's no pass blocking. There's none of that. The moment that ball gets snapped, the defensive line is through the offensive line every single time. That is the problem. Like, we can put blame everywhere else, but the number one problem that needs fixed is the offensive line, not Big Ben. Big Ben needs fixed. Big Ben needs to work on footwork. Big Ben needs to work on making throws. And Big Ben is definitely in his last year of the season. I totally get that. However, Big Ben is not the reason we are 1-3 right now. He is part of the reason, but he is not the sole reason. If you grab any of the 32 starting quarterbacks, I guess 31, because Ben would be the 32nd. If you grab 31 starting quarterbacks and put them on this current Steelers team, they would not succeed. Patrick Mahomes would not succeed. Aaron Rodgers would not succeed. I don't care what anyone says. They would not succeed. Our line sucks that bad. Now you tell me, the Steelers won the Super Bowl 2 years and did not have a good offensive line with Ben behind center in those 2 years. And I will rebuttal that that is true, but our offensive line this year is way worse than our offensive line in the 2 Super Bowl wins. I promise you that. Look at the names there. Look at the names now. We have a much worse offensive line. We literally just, in all facets of the line, are bad. Every single position, bad. And it's been going downhill since Mike Munchak left. I don't know if he was an offensive line guru, what the hell he did, what potion he gave the linemen. However, the potion ain't working now with, I think it's Sean Surratt as the new line coach. It's just not a good thing. They need to figure it out. I don't know if it's the coach. I don't know what the hell it is, but the line is bad. That needs to be solved ASAP. But I'm going to stop bitching about the line, and I'm going to move into a positive of this game. And it's a gambling positive, and it's a prop. Deontay Johnson had 9 receptions for 92 yards and a touchdown last week, and that was probably the only bright part about the whole entire game for the Steelers offense. But a bigger part, gambling-wise, Deontay Johnson is 3-0 on his receptions overs this year. And that, I mean, if you go into last year, I didn't, but I used to hammer that last year too. Ben loves throwing to him, and a big reason why is he gets open quick. He is open very quickly, and that's why Ben's getting it to him, because he doesn't have a lot of time, and he's just getting the ball out right when he gets it, and Deontay is usually the only one open. So I always hammer Deontay Johnson's receptions. They climb as the year goes on. Started out at 4.5 game 1. It was up to 5.5 last week, although he had 9, so he still covered. It might get up to 6.5. However, that's one that I will always throw money on because when the Steelers get down, which they will be getting down a lot this year, they throw the ball a ton, and Deontay Johnson's the only one that seems to be catching it as of recent. So something to look out for throughout the next few weeks. Just take a look at his receptions. If it's 4.5, slam 4.5. I don't think it will be the rest of the year. However, 5.5, I would still put some money on it. And then up there, you're just getting risky 6.5. If it goes to 7, that'd be crazy. But nonetheless, that's the only takeaway offensively that I have for the Steelers. If we want to go into the game a little bit more, the 10-point swing was the craziest part of the first half. I hate saying that was, if that wouldn't have happened and, if that would have happened and the refs would have allowed it and they wouldn't have called the offsides on Joe Hayden, we would have won the game or the game would have ended differently. I know there's many factors that go into it, so I'm not going to say that. However, that's a big 10-point swing heading into halftime. Going up with the lead in half over being down, 10 at half? Or being down 7.5, excuse me. That's just, I don't know. That was a big swing. He was not offsides. 100% HSO. If you know what HSO means, shout out. But he was 100%, swear to God, not offsides. Joe Hayden, that is. And Minka got the block, and he also got the touchdown, but it got taken back because it was a ref show clearly. They couldn't have been more perfect on the timing, and the refs decided to throw the flag. But that happens in every game. The refs are terrible in every single game. And we could spend a whole episode on talking about that, but I'm not going to waste my time because they're never going to get fixed. And it's just a never-ending pool of bad refereeing every single year that we complain about every single year. And I think that Vegas has something to do about that, but that's for a conspiracy podcast. So, one thing as well that I really liked about this game was Aaron Rodgers literally having eye sex with Mike Tomlin. And I call it eye sex because it was very flirtatious. The camera, whoever got that camera shot, by the way, should get a raise because that went viral. They got Mike Tomlin and Aaron Rodgers, beautiful, and they were flirting with each other. Pretty much what happened was Aaron Rodgers was about to hit the ball. and there was 12 men on the field for the Steelers. Tomlin ran down the field, got the ref, called the timeout before Rodgers had the ball, and there you go. That's where we get the eye sex. Rodgers looks over, smiles like, "Hey, I almost got you," and Mike's like, "Nah, not today, little boy, not today." And they had this smile, and then Rodgers went on Pat McAfee and started talking about Mike Tomlin again. And he is really, really stirring up the pot here in Pittsburgh for a 2022 campaign to be the starting Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback. And I would like to be very clear, as much as I love Big Ben, and he is my hero, and his jersey deserves to go into the rafters of Heinz Field and be retired, and he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. As much as I love all of that, I will absolutely love the Pittsburgh Steelers if they get Aaron Rodgers. I am so for that deal. Like, you have no idea. Everyone thinks that I love Ben so much that I can't love another quarterback. No. When Ben's gone, another comes, and I will fall in love with him just as much as I fell in love with Ben if he gives me Super Bowls. And Aaron Rodgers will give us Super Bowls. He will at least get us to the Super Bowl. Now, I'm not saying Aaron Rodgers coming in Super Bowl ready right now. People are saying that. I don't agree with that. I still think we need to build a line. But if we get Aaron Rodgers here, you bet your ass we're putting a line in front of him. So Aaron Rodgers 2022, I'm all for it. You know, I'll throw you some gear, Aaron, if you want some. If you want to walk around in Yinzer gear, I got you, buddy. So that was the Steelers, Green Bay Packers. Like I said, there's not much analysis to go into it. The Steelers sucked. If they would have won that game because of that blocked field goal, that would have been 2 games winning off of a block punt and a blocked field goal. So they clearly, the eye test, they were the losers of that game. It would have been lucky if they would have figured out to win, let alone cover. But the Steelers suck. They will suck throughout the year. Probably going to win 7 games, if that. And, you know, just look ahead. Look ahead to next year and just watch Ben ride out into the sunset. This is the last year you're going to see your hero play on your favorite football team. So it's pretty sad. It's pretty depressing. But we still got football to play. Week 5, they play Denver at Heinz Field. They're -1 favorites. And like I said earlier, the one thing I will definitely be hammering is Deontay Johnson receptions. They're not up as I'm recording this on Wednesday night. But I would guess that it's going to be 5.5, depending on the odds, whatever it is. You might want to work that in a parlay. If it's, you know, -160, if it's -110, -115, make it a single and hammer it if it's 5.5. Because he's going to be catching a lot. They're going to be down. Denver has a good defense. This is going to be kind of a defensive showdown. But I just don't know what's going to happen. Honestly, the Steelers should win this game, but who freaking knows? If you want my opinion on what's going to happen, I would go Steelers money line for shits and giggles. They're 0-2 at home. Do we really think they're going to go 0-3 at home against the Broncos? Like, really? 0-3 in Heinz Field? Like, I just don't know. But if you want my opinion, money line, Steelers. I think they have it at home at Heinz. They're pissed. Denver's a decent team with a good defense, but they have Drew Lock at quarterback, so I think our defense is going to eat him up. So it's going to probably come down to the end, and Ben might figure it out once, and we might get a win. So Steelers money line next week. If it wins you some money, you're welcome. If it doesn't, stay out of my DMs. That is the Across the Bridge segment for this week's episode. And, you know, now it's what we've been waiting for. We wait for all week. It's 0-4, but we're still waiting for it. That's right. It's the Big Day Parlay. Let's get into it. All right, guys. We're here. We're back. The Big Day Parlay. A big whopping 0-4. Beautiful music to your ears, right? 0-4. If you've been riding with me this whole way, you've lost $40, and I don't have much to say other than sorry. I'm trying everything, guys. I'm trying straight money line picks. I'm trying mainline spreads. I'm trying to bring in a celebrity, even though he wasn't a celebrity. No, Brandon Din. I'm trying to bring him in and give us a pick, and that didn't work. Last week was the worst big day parlay that we had, worst success rate. We went 1 for 3, but this is a new week. We have new bets, and I have a new celebrity guest for you guys. He's a bigger celebrity than Brandon Din. He might be a bigger gambler than Brandon Din, but let's get into it, and I'll introduce him later, all right? So, pick one, big day parlay. Here we go. Throw up the graphic. Thank you very much. And here we go. Pick one, Bills plus 3.5 at the Kansas City Chiefs. And this one's pretty simple, guys. The Bills offense is on fire right now. They're heating up. They're averaging 39.3 points a game. That's crazy. The last couple games, 39.3 points. That's insane. And who are they facing? A really bad Kansas City Chiefs defense. I'll give them average. They had a win last week, and it was, their first win in 3 weeks. However, their defense still did not look good against the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are not a good team. They're actually surprisingly worse than the Steelers, if that's even possible. And they gave up 30 points against the Eagles last week. Even though they won, they gave up 30 points. It's not too good. That's a rookie quarterback. I mean, Jalen Hurts, he played last year a little bit, but I consider him a rookie quarterback still. That's a rookie quarterback you gave up 30 points to. And they're giving up 31.3 points this year, that defense. So pretty simple. Bills offense, really good. Chiefs defense, pretty bad. So we're going to go Bills plus 3.5. That's actually teased. It's currently at plus 2.5. I'm teasing it past the field goal because if the Bills do lose, it's not going to be more than a field goal. So that's still a winner in my book if they lose by a field goal. Moving on to pick number 2. We'll throw Bills plus 3.5 up there. Pick 2. Green Bay money line at Cincinnati Bengals. If you were listening earlier in the show, I obviously had Green Bay -3 against Cincinnati. So obviously I love Green Bay money line against Cincinnati. A beautiful stat that I read before this that really wanted me to throw money on this was Green Bay is 10-2 straight up in their last 12 games. I mean, what more can you ask for? They're going to go 11-2. I don't know why they're only 3-point favorites against Cincinnati. Cincinnati, they do have 3 wins. I will give it to them. They are 3-1. However, their 3 wins are versus Minnesota, Pittsburgh, and Jacksonville. You combined all 3 of those teams' records, that is 2-10. So they're 3-1 against 2-10, essentially. That is 2-10 teams. That's pretty bad. And I have no idea why Green Bay is only 3-point favorites. They are starting to heat up. They had a very rough week 1 against the Saints, but they've looked good ever since. And you're telling me that they're going to go to Cincinnati and big bad Cincinnati, big bad Joe Burrow is going to scare Aaron Rodgers away and only lose by 3? No freaking way. Get out of here. 2 touchdowns. Green Bay is going to win by, but it doesn't matter. I have them Green Bay money line. They just need to win by 1. So this one's an easy one. Green Bay money line against Cincinnati. And now, the third pick, I have a celebrity guest for you guys. And this one is a good one. Let's bring him in here right now. The man, the myth, the legend, Noah No Doubters, Noah Hiles from the Beaver County Times. If you followed us before, we were on Underpaid and Overrated. Look at us now, baby. Still gambling. And Noah, how you been, buddy?
Yeah, for those listening who are wondering, yes, I am that guy who got let go by DK Pittsburgh Sports, one of the 4,000. No, I'm doing well, Tony. How are you?
Doing great, buddy. It's good to be back. It feels right. We're in StreamYard right now. Little plug to StreamYard.
Yes.
It looks the same. It looks like we're recording our old podcast, so
Darn
it feels
right.
good. And I'm giving another parlay, and I'm here to bring you in, hopefully, to get us a win. I need a win. I'm 0-4, man. I'm dying for a win, and I feel like a no doubter can help me out.
Well, yeah, while your struggles are tough for you, I'm just watching like a proud father right now. You're using a microphone that I recommended you buy. You're using StreamYard. I showed you this.
Yes. I know.
Like
all of this.
And we're talking parlays. I believe I'm the one who coined Tony Parlays.
You
So
are.
I'm a
You are.
proud dad right now, more
You
than a
should be.
celebrity. Although the blue check mark might be coming sometime this year on Twitter. Who
Wow.
knows?
We've
Who
been
knows?
waiting for that.
I have been way too long. But yeah, enough chit chat. Let's get into my third pick for this parlay here. This is one that hits close to home for you, Tony. As you know, you're a well-known Yinzer, big Steelers fan, and you don't like betting against the Steelers, but I think it's fair to assume you're fine with betting against them not scoring a lot of points.
Very fine with that. Yes.
So looking at the metrics here, the patterns, the trends, if you will, both Pittsburgh and Denver have yet to hit an over in each of their games this year. They're combined 0-8 against the over. So the under is your friend here. However, Vegas tends to catch on to these things. The line on this game, the total, I should say, is 39.5. I'm not totally thrilled against that, but what I do love is the first half under between Pittsburgh and Denver, which is 19.5 points. I went through and did a little homework for you because I care about you that much, Tony, and all of your millions of listeners. Denver averages 10.4 points a game in the first half. Okay. They've scored 10 their first two games, 17 in the first half, their third game of the year, and only a touchdown in the first half last week against Baltimore. The Steelers, as we all know, they stink in the first half, especially in the first quarter. They were shut out in the first half against Buffalo. They scored a touchdown in each of their first halves the next two games, and their losses against Cincinnati and wherever they play now, Las Vegas, the Raiders. And they scored 10 points in their first half against Green Bay last week. That's good for 6 points a game in the first half. So if you add those two averages up, you're looking at 16.4 points a game. That's safely under the incredibly low first half total as it is. And that's just trends. Let's take a look at injury reports. Ben's got spin the wheel, hip. That's his injury this week. Yeah. So he didn't practice today on Wednesday. He's going to probably be limited on Thursday. His receivers are limited practice. Claypool's coming back off of an injury. Juju has a rib injury. I mean, their whole offense is beat up. Their offensive line has guys. Dotson was limited practice, I think, this week. And then we go to the other side of the field. Teddy Bridgewater, the spread covering king. I love him to death, but he's recovering from a concussion. He just was allowed to start going to film study this week. He's starting weight training tomorrow. I don't know if he's going to get cleared for Sunday. Are we really going to assume that Drew Lock can put up a couple of touchdowns in the first half, come out of the gates at Heinz Field in a must-win game with a fully healthy defense? I don't think so. He might be able to do enough to get the job done, but I don't see him, scoring 17 points in the first half. Normally that's going to come in the second half. So between the injuries, the trends, and just common logic, I think first half between Broncos and Steelers under 19.5 points. That's my Noah's no doubter to finish off your parlay.
You know what, Noah, I absolutely love it. And like you said, the rest of the year with the Steelers, it's going to be hard to bet on them. So why not take the stat that is guaranteed? 0-8 under. That's crazy. 0-8 combined, Denver and Steelers under. And we're only going for the first half. I love that pick. I'm going to take that as a single. So all the million listeners that are listening in or viewers, that is a great single pick. I love adding that to the parlay. But let's give a little recap. We got the Bills plus 3.5 at Kansas City, Green Bay money line at Cincinnati, and then this beautiful Pittsburgh, Denver first half under 19.5. Noah, this one isn't as juicy as I've been making them. And you know what? For good reason. I'm 0-4. And maybe I shouldn't be working for the juice. Maybe I should just go for a win. And I feel like these are 3 for sure things that are going to happen.
Hey, Tony.
Bills is going to be hard. Bills will be hard.
You played baseball, right? Growing up?
Yeah, I did.
When you're down by 2 runs, what's your coach tell you before the bottom of the 7th inning? What do we need? We need base runners. You got to get on base, baby. You can't be swinging for the fences with these plus 500 values. Let's just get on base here.
I like that. That. And you know what? Plus 436. Throw them all together. Plus 436. That's not bad. That's under plus 500, like Noah just said. And that's what I'm usually going for above that. But we got plus 436. You put a $10 bet on that, pays out $53.60. That's a $43.60 profit. That will win back all of your losses from the last 4 weeks that I gave you. And you know what? I think this is the week, guys. If you haven't followed me, follow me now. And if you have followed me, don't stop until after this week. I promise you, this is a winner. I brought in a winner, a no-doubter, matter of fact, to come in and give me the third pick. But that's it. That's the show. That's the Big Day Parlay. I brought Noah in, and I'm feeling good. I'm feeling really good about this. And, you know, hopefully if this works out, maybe Noah will come back. Maybe he'll give me another pick. Maybe we'll have a whole segment. Who knows? Who knows what we'll do? But if he gets a winner here, I mean, he might have to stay. Even though he's not.
This hoodie doesn't say loser, Tony.
Yes, you're damn right. You're damn right. It says champion if you're not watching.
You're darn right.
But this is the Bet Slip with Tony Parlays. Tune in on Thursdays. I release it sometime in the afternoon, depending how busy I am at work. But just check in for Thursdays. Follow me on Twitter at Tony Harpel. You can see Noah Hiles at _ Noah Hiles on Twitter. Follow him with all high school sports. But yeah, look forward to this show on Thursdays. And I have audio and video every single week. So if you don't like listening, go ahead and watch. Well, it'd be kind of weird if you didn't listen to this. But definitely just go ahead and just watch me on YouTube. Or you can listen to me on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and much more. Thursdays, the Bet Slip with Tony Parlays. And if you're ever looking for somewhere to go, there's plenty of room on the Cheap Seats Network. And that's where you'll find the Bet Slip with Tony Parlays. That's Noah Hiles next to me. We will talk to you guys later. See you next week. Peace.